Manners. They are easy to spot when you see them, but the funny thing is, when you don't see them, they're also easy to spot. And teenagers seem to have this code of conduct all their own when it comes to manners. So joining me now is Mrs. Hancock, a manner expert, to give us her tips on teen etiquette and how it may or may not differ from the manners that we see and practice as adults. It's nice to have you.
It's nice to be here, Stephanie. Nice to see you. Good morning.
Would you agree with that statement that, teenagers seem to have this code of conduct and what they think is appropriate for manners that makes sense to them? It's a social norm for them.
I think they have a lot of pressure. I think they're under a lot of pressure to fit in at school, to fit in, after school. And it's up to us adults and the parents in their lives to really give them permission and for them to know that it's okay to raise their standards.
Sometimes raising their standards makes them stand out a little bit, whether it's among their peers or adults. So
good manners takes courage.
It's true.
Using good manners takes courage, whether you're a child, a teenager or an adult,
Well, if we could boil it down to 3 key things that you'd love for a takeaway here in the next few minutes, what are 3 things that we could implement with our teens today that we might reap the benefits of immediately or, say, over the next year?
I think it would be wonderful if every teen could comfortably introduce themselves to an adult.
Eye contact for me is huge. If a child at
and
any
a good
age,
handshake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So meeting and greeting, very important. Speaking to adults, being able to have a conversation. And that comes a lot of times from an adult or their parent giving them permission. We want to talk to you, want to know what your opinions are. You're capable, you're smart. What are you thinking? Because we can't read their minds, right?
I've been in situations where, let's say a teenager walks into the room and mom says, say hello to, Miss Sandoval. Oh, hi, Miss Sandoval. And then they'll walk off.
Yes.
So let's kind of address that situation where how would that work as a teachable moment?
I actually think that the fact that they spoke 4 words versus a monosyllable,
that word.
Hi, right?
Right.
So at least they spoke a few words. I think it's really important to engage them and to give them permission to engage back.
Okay.
So good morning, good afternoon. When you're at brunch and you run into another family, the young men should know that they should stand up and shake. Dad should be standing up and shaking hands and saying hello. We're their teachers on a kind of day in, day out basis. And they watch us.
When does this start, though? Let's assume that we've kind of fallen astray or gotten, as parents, a little bit, dare I say the word, lazy with teaching these sorts of manners to our kids. When, ideally, should we be introducing this stuff?
Our youngest clients are 2.5.
And what would you teach a 2.5-year-old that would help them when they turn into, an adolescent?
Well, that when they sit down, their napkin should go in their lap. Maybe that their elbows shouldn't go on the table. That we always that we're always supposed to say please and thank you, right? When mommy says, Jarrett, come here, or mommy says, Jarrett, where are you? Doesn't respond with a what. He says, yes, mommy, or yes, dad. Lots of things that they get started with on a very, very young basis and they use throughout the rest of their lives, because are these not social skills for life?
I agree.
Aren't these things
100%.
that we use forever?
I think it develops self-confidence.
Absolutely.
I think that it shows that, you care about your kids enough to give them the skills that they need to kind of be okay in the world. But I also want to talk real quickly, because whether it's teens or toddlers, this is wedding season. And while I have you here, I have to kind of ask, if we're going to take them to these situations, what are some top wedding tips that you might suggest?
I think that when I was being raised, we went everywhere. Our parents took us everywhere, and they sat us down and they said, this, that, and the other thing, and we were very, very well behaved. And I think exposing children to weddings and events and things that are transpiring like that,
I just got myself disinvited from a lot of events. If I'm not following this mantra, Stephanie's going to start taking her kids everywhere. All right. And then lastly, are there classes that we can take advantage of with you for children of all ages, and how would we go about doing that?
Children of all ages, we work in some of the Parks and Recs programs, the city programs here in town. We are happy to come in home and work with a family privately, one-on-one, or with a group of children. We work in a lot of the different school districts, and we're happy to be of service anytime. All right. Regardless of the age. I mean, 2.5, whether you're 22 and a
Right.
half, you know?
Sometimes it's just knowing that so that it gives you the confidence to
Puts
practice
you
it.
at ease,
Yeah.
so you're comfortable in any situation with anyone, typically.
I say parents start with the eye contact.
It just
Look
makes
them
them
in the eye.
a better version of who they already are when they feel as though they can, you know, carry on a conversation
Right.
with someone. So give them permission to speak.
All right, permission to speak and lots of other great advice from Mrs. Hancock. We're going to provide her information on SonoranLiving.com as well as some of these resources that she recommends as well.
All right, when we come back, we are going to be in the kitchen, and oh yeah, they're ready. They're ready to duke it out. It is bite night. Guys, it's not fight night. It's bite night. Can't we all just get along? We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to be talking more about the ALS Bite Nights at Biltmore this weekend.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to get them in, even though we're sold out. Absolutely.
Where's Steve going to be?
Andy, I'm next to you, baby.
I know.
He loves this. Are you kidding me? This is what he lives for.
Each of you cut up a couple little bites. So I'm going to start off